Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this panel discussion on the state of digital governance. The journey of digital India started as a mere computerization or conversion of paper process into a computer process during the early 2000s. Most of you would recollect. The next step was a simple MIS for the government departments, districts, and the cities. We have come a long way. This has now grown into technology-enabled governance. The government to citizen services and projects today are blockchain-based, like e-attestation in Karnataka. Maharashtra's projects use big data and blockchain. Tamil Nadu is basing projects on Internet of Things, AI, and chatbot. Talk of Telangana, the real-time digital authentication uses AI, ML, and deep learning. Almost each state is leveraging and harnessing the potential of modern technologies. Practitioners believe that AI, ML, or blockchain are such technologies that are going to be the mainstay of delivery of government-to-citizen services across the country. Technology-driven reforms are being rolled out by applying innovative methods. Similar encouraging stories coming from states like Rajasthan, Odisha, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, and so on, applying technology solutions, improving governance. So today, the approach is digital by default, translated as presence-less, contactless, paperless, anytime, anywhere, and inviteless services, improving the quality of interaction with the government and receiving personalized and proactive services. Consider this, October 2022, more than 1.34 billion Aadhaar cards have been issued. Magnanimous effort anywhere around the world. Monthly digital transactions on UPIs crossed 11.17 trillion and over 133 million unique DigiLocker users have uploaded 5.62 billion documents. The numbers itself would suggest that India is going digital with a vengeance. On the other hand, the flip side, it's also true that the economic stress is building up. Unemployment is on the rise, and the state finances are turning precarious. Yet, there is hope in digital, wherein India is targeting to become a $1 trillion digital economy by 2024. While this all may be true, there are still areas which deserve attention, where both the adaptation and adoption has been slow and need to accelerate. So today's panel on the state of digital governance takes stock of the situation and suggests ways to overcome the challenges or the hurdles. And ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Mr. Anil Kumar, Chief General Manager IT from Rajcom Information Services. He's representing Mr. Akhil Arora, Principal Secretary IT from the Government of Rajasthan. He's been associated with the journey of digital Rajasthan for years. He's personally driving and monitoring a number of e-governance digital initiatives in the state. Mr. Ashish Singh, Commissioner, Excise Department, Government of Odisha. He is a 2004 batch IPS officer in the department since 2021. Due to his meticulous planning, he's been able to formulate a plan of action and strategy for enhancing the revenue for the state. And it actually has resulted in increasing the department's revenue by as much as 25% in a short period of 1 year. Mr. Abhishek Sharma, Chief Executive Officer from Jammu and Kashmir E-Governance Agency. He has personally been leading and driving e-governance in the state. Notable initiatives have been complete automation of government functioning. Interventions include e-office, domicile application, using blockchain and digital village centers. And due to his efforts in the state of in Jammu and Kashmir, that's been rated as top UT in the latest National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment of 2021. Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora, Executive Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology, who has been steering multifarious initiatives for demonstrating technological interventions to address challenges of the state, and unmet needs of the industry. She has created and mentored successful models for generating sustainable livelihoods for rural populations and underprivileged communities. And we have Mr. Sanjay Mathur, who is the task force manager from Uttarakhand, representing Mr. Amit Kumar Sinha, director in the Information Technology Department. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to all of you once again. And the way we are going to be running this panel is we'll split it over 2 or 3 questions. I'll pose the questions to the panel, invite you one by one, and with the request that keep your comments limited to 3 minutes, so that we go through 3 or 4 rounds of this interaction, followed by a discussion, and then take questions from the audience if there are any. So my first question is that what will it take to bring every citizen of India under the fold of e-governance and tap underserved communities through technology-enabled modes of governance? And for this, I hand over the mic to Mr. Abhishek Sharma.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me today in the SKOCH Award ceremony and the presenting my state. The work which we have done recently, for which we have been finalized as a semi-finalist, is the JK Public Works Department online management system.
Abhishek, let me allow me to interject here. As far as the project is concerned, we are familiar and aware of the achievements that the project has already done. We would like to go beyond the project. So my open question to everyone, which is what, one by one, everyone is invited to speak on, that while we are, looking at e-governance and trying to take the services to the underserved communities through technology-enabled modes of governance, what is it that we need to do to accelerate it? Because there are areas which still remain untouched. So how to take good governance by way of e-governance?
Thank you so much. Now, since we are focusing on the citizen service delivery, and you must be aware that JK has been ranked #1 in NESDA rankings 2021, which brings us to a pace where we have seen a transformation in a very short period. Now we are at 225 services, and we know that, for example, the state of Haryana has 625 services online. And we want that every state which is new to the digital scene, what we can do is, #1, I think we should not reinvent the wheel. If any input, for example, Abgari system has been developed by Odisha, simple si baat hai, aap usko as it is, we should replicate it, considering our own customization, our own requirements, but we should not reinvent the wheel. One. Second thing is, what we need to do is to learn from other states what mistakes any state has made. For example, every year we have to ensure the operation and management of the services and the security audits of the services. So traditionally what was done is that in any project, it was kept as a O&M of 3 years or 5 years. We have to understand that security is non-negotiable. We can't compromise with the security of our citizen data in the services. So we need to make sure that we learn and we see and we collaborate with the other states what can be done to ensure that when we go on the digital scene and make the citizen service delivery online, we don't compromise on the data privacy and the data security issues. So we need to have a very long-term vision on that. Number 3 is that we should be able to scale fast. Now we have many such platforms. Earlier it was SSDG, now we have Service Plus available. Service Plus is based on low-code, no-code basis. So I think that what is required right now is to begin fast, and scalable projects should be done so that we are able to scale and reach to the last mile of the people very easily. So these are some inputs which we in the JNK are trying. We are not reinventing the wheel. We are learning from other states. Now we are going to have an MOU with Haryana to just replicate what they have done in the digital services delivery, so that we are able to reach where the topmost states have in a very short period of time. Thank you.
That's excellent. That's excellent. There are similar strides which are made by the government of Odisha under the leadership of Mr. Ashish Singh, who is the Commissioner, Excise Department, leveraging technology in his department. So what's been your what would be your inputs if the same question I posed to you, rather than taking the citizen, this is actually the business and the citizen together.
Good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. The concept of governments is to give the best services to their citizens. So technology is playing a very important role. If any government is not serving to their citizen and having in between the mediocres and the middleman, so the governance policy will not reach to the common people. Like in our Odisha, what we have done, not for the Abkari, I'm talking about in general concept. We have come with the concept of Moor Sarkar and 5T. Moor Sarkar means the government is whose? Government is a public. So public should feel that government is there. So in Moor Sarkar, there is a system. We are taking a feedback from every citizen who are coming from a different corner of the state to their government offices like block, police station, like different officers working on the ground level. And whenever they are taking any services, we are getting a data synced at a central panel, and concerned minister, concerned secretaries, concerned district magistrate, and officer have been given a target to call the citizen to take the feedback how the services provided to them. So they are getting the feeling of Moor Sarkar. The benefit of this thing is the middleman that is being eradicated, and services are reaching to the common people. And last 2 years, more than 1.6 crore people have been contacted from the top, not from the ground. Now they are not coming to our offices. We are calling them and taking their feedback. And second concept our government is having, that is a 5T. Because the ultimate concept is to come with the transformation. If governance is not able to transform the system, then the lack of the concept of the governance. So what we are doing, we are using the teamwork, we are using the time-bound manner, and also we are ensuring the transparency. But the most important part is the technology. If you will bring technology in every service delivery system, automatically the middleman hiccups will be eradicated. So in every corner of our department, not only in excise in state, I'm talking about perspective of entire state. Now in last 2 years or last 3 years, the Odisha is doing exemplary, outstanding. We are getting excellent feedback from the public. Just I'm giving an example in a particular department like police department. There is a 95% satisfaction rate of the services provided by the police to the common people. We are getting from the ground level feedback. So technology should reach to the common people, and there should not be middleman. And that concept should be ensured. And the basis of this, we have to bring the transparency and also transformation in the service delivery system. So technology has a very important role playing in this process, and we are adopting it. Like Kashmir, representative from Kashmir has told, we are also learning from other states. Whatever we are getting the good practices from other states, we are also trying to replicate, for which the Odisha one portal has been prepared, and all the services at different platforms are being synced. So people should not go to different platform for different applications. We are coming with the one application. So this type of initiative Odisha government is taking last 3 to 4 years. Thank you.
One thing that comes to my mind is that, you transformed the department from a loss making. You have now taken the revenue at least 200% up. So is it because that you come from the enforcement, or otherwise there was, it was headed by somebody from the administrative services? So what really worked? How did it happen?
Actually, it is a process which has been taken for the transfer of the government by the government. They have taken a decision that there should not be a monopoly. Like in excise, the people are having a multiple shop, one person is having 10 shop, and it is starting since years together. And then they are controlling entire business, and they are running all the business for their benefit money. The purpose of liquor is not to serve the people liquor. We are only ensuring the liquor should be served only to avoid unto us. So that will control, this is a control article. So what we have done, we have used the technology as an e-Abkari project. We have come with the e-lottery. So anybody sitting in the world, they can apply, giving a certain amount of money. And what has happened, the person like one district, one person is having 80 shops. Now I can claim here in this platform, nobody is there in Odisha who can claim that they have more than 10, 8 or 7 shops. So all the shops have been deregulated and it has been distributed among the, even common people have also able to take it. So what is happening, then monopoly was broken and suddenly the growth of revenue increased because they are controlling the business. Now that is not being controlled by them. And we are able to take all the procedure in the liquor, which is coming from the depot to other state direct supplier and going to the vendors. Everything can be monitored by our portals. And simultaneously, we have installed the strict enforcement to stop the idle liquors. So our revenue has grown.
Thank you. I'll come back to you with the next question. In the meanwhile, let me invite Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora. In fact, the story of Punjab has been very interesting. It used to be one of the pioneer states when the e-governance started. The in West Punjab and several other initiatives that were taken up. But somehow on the way, it has kind of slowed down. So what has been the challenge and why has that happened, and what is being done to correct this so that it comes back on the fast track? Dr. Arora.
Thank you, Mr. Dhanjal, for having me here. In fact, on the contrary, I'm forgetting the exact reference. One of the very recent reports also mentioned that Punjab is in fact currently a front runner as far as the digitalization of various services is concerned. And happy to share with you that there are in fact some very out of the box initiatives as well. For example, various if I talk of say remote sensing, I'm taking you as you understand that some of my panelists are from the governance departments, and I have science, technology, innovation as my core domain. So I like to touch upon some of the very core technical aspects also, though in a manner that it generates interest and taking everybody along. So I was in, for example, Egypt last week to attend UN's Conference of Parties on Climate Change. So, I'll come back to what I was saying, but, this thought just came to my mind. So, at the moment, I would say one of the key challenge, because you also talked of when you opened this session of touching, reaching every citizen, how we, cover the entire population. I think at the moment, one, for example, major challenge that the world is facing is climate change, And believe me, when I was in, Sharm el-Sheikh last week, the entire globe is looking at India as a front runner as far as, the way India is positioning itself in this domain. The first, nationally determined contribution that India has put forward is that we'll reach out to everyone to remind us that we have living sustainably is in our DNA. So how do we actually propagate that, involve every citizen in that? So India gave a acronym also, LIFE, which is lifestyle for environment. How about having some digital platforms wherein we share our best practices in terms of living sustainably? So, I'm sure some of the states, I'm giving it as a food for thought. So sharing of Punjab, we have come up with the apps to see if there is afforestation has been carried out in a stretch. How do we keep monitoring it over a period of time? The digital tools for those, and digital tools for how do we monitor individually as far as our carbon footprint is concerned, and also taking these initiatives, these approaches in a citizen-centric manner in regional language to our citizens. I think this is one major constraint, that when you talk of reaching last mile connectivity, reaching out to the a person in rural areas, or India being rural dominated, so is the state of Punjab. So talking of, taking the digital tools in regional language. And also, when we talk of digitalization infrastructure, and the internet connectivity and how to come up with the tools. For example, we recently supported a startup, Rootworks it's called, developing tools for teaching which work in low resource settings in rural areas, as far as the school level teaching is concerned. So many such examples in Punjab, I take pride in sharing. Also talking of health, for example, and we didn't, a co-panelist was talking of not reinventing the wheel, beautifully said. What we did, we looked at the government of India anyway runs a Jan Care Challenge, for example, wherein they identify, say, 15 odd innovations from across the country, which serve the population in terms of better health. So we picked up two of those which were very, very relevant to Punjab. One, for example, if a medico is sitting at a distance from a pregnant woman, how can the doctor keep a tap on the vitals of the mother as well as the fetus? So that's this innovation about. And we provided a test bedding support system for this innovation, brought on board our AIMS, Bathinda, brought on board our health department, and this is being test bedded. And once it's proven that it works in our settings, then it will be mass disseminated through our health department. Similarly, for say cervix cancer in women, looking at the high prevalence. So reducing the diagnosis time through AI/ML, you mentioned in your opening remarks, how do we bring it down to sizably bringing it down, the diagnosis time. So once we do that, and then it can be, mass disseminated across our, health centers. So these are some, and also the Punjab being the, the breadbasket of the country, coming up with the models, looking at what is the organic carbon content in various soils, so that we can come up with the AI/ML based interventions for precision farming in Punjab. So I would say Punjab is really working on some out of the box examples, in terms of utilizing the tools of digitalization, artificial intelligence. Our remote sensing center is coming up with the models based on which, impact of climate change on agro ecosystems will be forecasted in times to come, and so on and so forth. So these are the thoughts that immediately come to my mind, and I'll share more as we go along this session. Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, this is quite an interesting input into the ensuing journey of Punjab as far as adoption of modern technologies are concerned. And you rightly said that, now is the time to use precision farming, technologies that are available like AI and ML in precision farming, because that's the way to go. And Punjab actually used to be number one in agriculture production, and that's been displaced by Madhya Pradesh in last as many years. So it needs to regain its lost glory and the lost spot. It still again has to come up. Fine, we will definitely come back to you asking and seeking more information and learning from you. So in the meanwhile, let me invite Mr. Sanjay Mathur from Information Technology Development Agency, Uttarakhand, as to what has been the story there in the state.
Thank you for the opportunity. In fact, I will straight away go to the initiatives which we are taking here for providing e-governance services.
More than the initiatives, I would prefer if you talk about the residual challenges that you are facing.
Yes.
And how is it and what steps are being taken by the state to fix those?
Okay. See, the biggest challenge which...
I don't see your video.
There's some problem, I think.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, there's some problem there. It's not kind of recognizing the video.
No problem.
See, the biggest challenge which Uttarakhand faces today is of connectivity. See, whatever good citizen services we may develop, But until unless we are not able to reach the last mile, it's of no use. Those initiatives are useless. Still, in Uttarakhand, there are more than 1,600 villages which are totally dark. That means there is no 2G, 3G, any signal. Recently, the government of India has sanctioned around 1,204 towers, BSNL towers for the state. And through that, BSNL is kind of claiming that they will be able to saturate entire Uttarakhand under the 4G services. But until unless that comes up, that again is almost a 1.5 to 2 years of project which is to be still to be initiated by BSNL. Nonetheless, we have been lucky to have a special capital assistance funding from the government of India, under which we will be able to provide last mile connectivity over OFC to some 200 plus gram panchayats which were covered under the BharatNet 1 initiative. So probably the state was kept on the back burner while the BharatNet 1 was being rolled out, and only 1,800 of these, more than close to 8,000 gram panchayats of the state were covered. And out of those 1,860 odd gram panchayats, cable was laid only at 1,530. And out of those 1,530, only close to 1,000 gram panchayats are lighted or they are working. And this figure keeps going down to almost 600,000. So under this last mile connectivity initiative, which is being funded by the government of India, we intend to connect some 10,000 destinations, of which 1,200 would be government outlets like colleges, schools, police posts, medical centers, post office, and the paramilitary outposts which are there in the border areas. And remaining would be households where we would provide the fiber to the home. Again, the challenge happens is there, which is about providing connectivity to these households. At least for the government agencies, we plan to provide them connectivity over the Uttarakhand statewide area network. And we are looking for partners for the last mile challenge, which is there for the households, to provide them some internet connectivity. Then again, building upon connectivity only, we are one of the few leading states who have rolled out the software-driven wide area network over our SWAN. And we have also taken an alternate ISP for the connectivity. Like basic connectivity on SWAN was BSNL, and BSNL had its own challenges in the hill areas. So we have, for the entire state, we have taken up another service provider, Airtel, to provide us connectivity, so that at least the government network, it keeps functioning either on one of the service providers. Coming to solutions for the citizens, we have come up with a portal called the Apni Sarkar, wherein 425 citizen services have been made online, and there is a iOS mobile app also for this solution. It was only recently launched during the state formation day on 9th of November. Then another good initiative which the state has taken is of the state data lake. So most of the data of the citizens and the projects and various departments, schemes and all are being pulled into one single kind of repository, out of which various dashboards and various services would flow out. Then coming to the solutions which other states are providing and learning from them, we are also initiating the Uttarakhand Parivar Pehchan Patra on the lines of what UP has done based on learning from Haryana. So basically, the basic database for this would be the food and civil supplies, but we will build on it through the databases for the health and other departments which we have. Then this we are doing with the target of providing proactive governance in terms of self-certified or maybe automated certificate deliveries, automated delivery of schemes like old age pension, or issuance of certificates based on some trigger somewhere in the anywhere on the entire government data lake system. Mm-hmm. So this is what we are doing. Then under the smart city initiative, we are running some smart buses here, which are all purely electric buses, and we have set up smart bus stops where you will have displays, and even you have a panic button which is connected to the central control. You can talk about or ask about any help or any assistance. Then the displays also tell you when the next bus on that route for which destination is coming, and all those things, information based on the real-time GPS monitoring of these buses.
I bring myself in at this moment.
Yeah.
You're right when you say that, being a hill state, you have a challenge that, more than 75% is the geographically challenged regions in really, really remote, where it takes not only hours, but it may take more than a day or two to reach. And
Yes.
connectivity would definitely be a big challenge. So there is a rural governance, and then there is an urban governance. The story on the
Yes.
urban side definitely is very, very promising. But as you rightly said, the poor connectivity has been an issue. Last mile, is being connected right now with the new technologies, particularly the new initiative which is being rolled out, which is BharatNet.
Yes.
We've been into the journey of e-governance for nearly 22 years now. Right, 2022.
Correct. Correct.
Why the pace has been so slow in the state? Would you like to delve on it?
See, actually, connectivity, which basically is a central subject in terms of telecommunications, and even telecommunication connectivity in the state is still wanting, right? So that was not some major or a big breakthrough which the state could have done. We've been trying, and definitely all these service providers, whether it be in SPs or TSPs, they look at a critical mass for their business to be successful, or their investments to be successful in the remote areas, because at least 65% of our villages in the hills have population which is less than 500 even. And for them to set up or to invest in infrastructure at these remote locations was a challenge, until unless USOF intervened, and there was some initiatives of USOF to have some VSATs and some towers funded and installed. So that is how the entire sector has been lagging in the state.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'll come back to you. Thank you so much. Let me invite now Mr. Anil Kumar, who is Chief General Manager IT from Rajcom Information Services, Rajasthan. As it is widely believed that the technology interventions have multiple effect on the society, not only taking the services closer to the citizens, but also propelling a digital revolution and increasing the and providing employment opportunities. Rajasthan historically has been known to be one of the Bimaru states. It came up pretty fast and became nearly digital in all its functioning all across. Yet, moving forward, you have challenges of reaching out to the remote areas. And in addition, there are residual challenges. So how would you identify those, and what is being done to fix it?
Thank you, Doctor. The first and foremost thing for taking efficient delivery of government services down to the downtrodden community and last mile is to have a proper infrastructure in place. First and foremost requirement is to have a proper wide area connectivity down to the level of Gram Panchayat. Initially, when proper connectivity of telecom service providers were not there in the state, at that time we had hired VSAT services from Tata Hughes for providing connectivity, and we provided like e-Mitra and CSC services down to the level of Gram Panchayat. Rajasthan has the highest number of e-Mitra kiosk providing almost it's down to the level, almost every village of Rajasthan has a e-Mitra kiosk up and running. I think only 1600 odd villages are remaining where there is no e-Mitra kiosk, no e-Mitra center. Rest almost 42,000 plus villages are having given to citizens of Rajasthan. Secondly, there is another scheme which is called Janadhar, which caters to the downtrodden through direct benefit transfer. Complete direct benefit transfer is being done to the rural people. The pensioners, there are around 1 crore pensioners in Rajasthan, and it is directly being transferred into their bank accounts. Almost every
Rajasthan is experiencing poor connectivity.
citizen is
While
financial inclusion has been ensured in Rajasthan through this Jan Aadhaar database. Jan Aadhaar, we have got around 7.45 crore resident database, which is called a state resident data hub, through which all the other services have been linked. The Kisan portal has been linked to this. Then we have got rural startup, which is our only state which has initiated this rural startup scheme, where we are encouraging self-help group to come up with their startups and take help from state government, take financial help from state government. Then government is also distributing mobiles to the end users, to all the family of Jan Aadhaar, that is around 1.50 crore families, so that governance reaches down to the level of rural people. All these initiatives are being taken. Then there is a general grievance portal which is being run by government, that is Rajasthan Sampark, where people can apply for any grievance for any of the government department, and that grievance get resolved within 25 days of its being lodged, grievance being lodged. So these are some of the initiatives which are covering the entire resident of the state from e-governance perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you with my next question. In the meanwhile, let me move over and ask Mr. Abhishek Sharma that how are you leveraging these new age technologies for government services and introduce mobility solutions, just mentioned by one of the fellow panelists, for the last mile connectivity and the last mile governance, keeping in mind the ever-rising cost of technologies due to technology obsolescence. However, over a period of time, technologies become cheaper, but due to the obsolescence, the cost always keeps on going up. Abhishek ji.
Can I get more clarity on the question, please?
Question is that how are you leveraging the new age technologies? So when we talked about all these, AI, ML, and so on and so forth, taking the government services to the last mile, also improving governance. But when we say technologies, these technologies are not cheap, and the cost of technology is also moving up due to the technology obsolescence and upgradations which are required from time to time.
Very important and very valid question in this, because now the focus is becoming on emerging technologies, and in every especially in every sense, we are seeing the penetration of the emerging technologies. What we in J&K have done is, for example, I will just give you an example. You remember that 5th of August 2019, J&K was made into a union territory. So the biggest question was, because this was a constitutional change, and all citizens needed a identification certificate, which we call as domicile certificate. So there was an urgent requirement of a domicile application. So we made an application in 45 days. In order to ensure, because this was a very sensitive subject, so in order to ensure the verification is proper and no fuzzy certificate is given, and all the certificates which have been provided are authentic, we embedded the blockchain-based technology within the system. So now, if any tehsildar wants to verify any domicile certificate, The system is based on blockchain technology, and it can be verified in real time. So we have tried to integrate. So I think that technology should not be used just for the sake of technology, but whenever there is an opportune time. So we need to find out areas, map the areas in which we can put in technology. For example, AI, ML, we keep on saying constantly. So right now, we have this visitor management system in every office, visitor face recognition system in every office, smart city missions. So all of them use a lot of technology and very costly technology. However, if we integrate one layer of AI, it will not cost much if we use it in a proper way and where it is required. So right now we are starting with JNK digital JNK internship scheme, in which we are giving an opportunity to youth who are trained in emerging technologies. So we have 2-3 MTech students from IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi. So they have done a lot of projects in IoT. They have done projects in AI. They have done projects in face recognition. We are hiring them on a very minimal stipend, and we are giving them potential areas to explore and give us small areas where they can be used. For example, IoT can be used in smart agriculture. It can be used in health. AI can be used in diagnostics. It can be used in diagnosis of plant diseases, in agriculture, in horticulture. So there are potential areas. What we require is that we should be getting proper field research and basic work done so that we can map the potential areas with the demands of the government of the day. So demand, government में हमेशा demand नहीं रहती, cyclic आती है. So whenever the demand is there, we put the technology, it gets approved, and the technology gets embedded. So now coming to the second part of the question, which is the obsolescence of technology. So every technology has a life cycle. It can be 5 years, it can be 1 year, it can be 2 years. So every year we should. So this is again, I'm saying from learning other states, that we should have in our systems एक हमारे पास एक question mark होना चाहिए, check होना चाहिए, that whether the technology is relevant or it needs to be upgraded. So if a technology is not relevant, we should definitely we should not use, because it is also creating a sort of security risk. Any technology which is outdated is a potential threat. So we should probably every 1 year, after 1 year, every 3 years, and every 5 years. हर टेक्नोलॉजी का 5 साल के बाद it gets obsolete. So right now we are saying blockchain, AI, ML, हो सकता है 5 साल के बाद नई टर्म्स आ जाएं. So उस time तक we should not laggard keep the baggage of the outdated technologies with us. So for that reason, I think we need to be very closely associated with the industry and the academia. What is happening in the academia right now, the government has to be very well aware that which technology and which a part of it has to be used and which has to be left out. So this is how we are trying to start it in Jain. Thank you.
Well said. Jatinder ji, may I move over to you?
I think I'll take it forward from where Mr. Abhishek left. So we are, in fact, developing State Science Technology Innovation Observatory. India recently came up with its draft National Science Technology Innovation Policy, wherein one of the vision is that there will be a national STI observatory. So Punjab is the first state to build up a state level science technology innovation observatory, which besides featuring things like what is the STI ecosystem in the state, will also provide a platform to highlight what are the grand challenges of various development departments, so that the institutions can come up with the technological solutions to address those, as well as the unmet needs of industry. And also there will be a platform for resource pooling. You talked about cost cutting. So the advanced equipments available with various institutions, the inventory of those will be available on this platform so that the others can utilize these resources. That will be lead to a huge cost cutting. So I think this is one example that readily comes to my mind. The other is, there is, for example, a need was felt that we need no-cost solutions for river water quality monitoring. So we've roped in IIT Ropar, for example, to develop sensor-based, low-cost, sensors, low-cost solutions which could be used in real time, in the rivers of Punjab, and then this can be emulated by the other states as well. So I think these are few quick examples and the best practices which we are in the process of establishing that come to my mind. Yeah.
So if I have to ask Rajasthan, which is really has gone pretty much far ahead on its technology strides, it's time for the upgradation of the state IT infrastructure, including your data center and stuff like that, so that it can take the pressure of ever increasing number of online services and its usage. So what's your take on that?
See, we have been one of the leaders as far as the state data center is concerned. Rajasthan has got the only tier 4 certified data center across country. No state in government sector has a tier 4 certified data center. And we have got the highest number of rack space that is available with our data center. That is a 600 rack data center. Secondly, we got a DR site for data center established in Jodhpur. So, both the sites we are managing it. And as far as new technologies are concerned, Rajasthan has been one of the leaders in adopting all these technologies. We have also established 2 institutes specifically for training our youth of the state in areas of new technology. One, we are coming out with a AIoT innovation cluster along with IIT Jodhpur. Second, this innovation cluster is going to work on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. And another institute, that is Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, has recently been inaugurated by our Honorable Chief Minister on August 20th. This institute, under this institute, we are tying up with all the leaders in the IT for providing certification to the youth in all the advanced and emerging technologies like robotics, AIoT, blockchain, AI and ML. We have already signed MOU with Red Hat, Oracle, SAS, and there are a number of leading organizations, and they are providing training under one roof. Thirdly, we are also coming up with Blockchain Center of Excellence. It has been our budget announcement, and it has been approved by finance, and now we are in process of getting it implemented. So these are the 3 major institutions that we are going to build with regard to new technologies. There's one more, that is Rajasthan Institute of Advanced Learning. This institute would work on research and development and will establish lab in the area of medtech, agri-tech, climate tech. So that work is also going on simultaneously. And fourthly, then there is a Rajiv Gandhi FinTech Digital Institute that is coming up in Jodhpur. This institute would be a university and would be a degree granting institute in the area of FinTech. These are some of the initiatives that we are working on with regard to the latest technologies. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let me now invite Mr. Ashish Singh. Leveraging new age technology, in mind the ever-rising cost, and also please go ahead.
In our state, what state government has done, we have made one UCAC, one agency is there, Visa Computer Application Center, and that is exclusive responsibility of that agency is to upgrade the technology, also to train the people within the government offices, and also to sensitize the common people in the local area to use the technology. So what they are doing, they are also hiring the different experts from the different quarters. Also, they are having a MOU with the different agencies who are doing some good initiative on technology. And their exclusive responsibility is only to ensure that technology should not be having a glitch, and that should not be any problem in coming days, because always technology is having upgradation. So that agency is totally last 5 years that has been strengthened, and expert have been posted, and they are doing the regular auditing of all the department in IT initiative. Suppose now, earlier what was happening, every department is opening with a new application, new apps they are launching. Now the government has come up with the idea that everything should be properly monitored, and concurrence of OCAC should be taken, because they have an expert panel and they are taking a best quality of IT expert in the agency. So Odisha is working on that line.
So, I mean, just quickly on the state data center, the upgradation has already happened, or it is in the process? Because all these Oracles and the Red Hats and the Microsofts, all their systems, the software which have been installed, so they require upgradation from time to time. So which has been due for a very long time, because data centers came up good 10-15 years ago. So has that already happened, or it's in the process of happening?
This has been happening in Odisha in last 1 year. Last 1 year, earlier it was very slow, but last 1 year that every corner was updated from the OCAC side.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. So let's hear the story from Uttarakhand, Mr. Sanjay Mathur. What have been your imperatives when it comes to leveraging new technologies? Last mile, you already talked about, on the rising cost and technology obsolescence.
See, coming on the new technologies, Uttarakhand was the pioneer state in setting up a drone application and research center. And we feel pride to tell that we have trained almost 2,000 people from various organizations of the paramilitary, the SDRF, state disaster response forces, and people from various engineering institutes on drone flying, drone training, and drone technologies. We are also coming up with a center of excellence in drone in collaboration with STPI in Dehradun, and another center of excellence in cybersecurity. We have IIT Roorkee as the academic partner there, and the Uttarakhand Police, the STF wing of the Uttarakhand Police. So these are two of the initiatives. Plus, we are setting up a drone school at each of the 13 district headquarters. This initiative has been funded by Government of India, because drone happens to be a solution for the future. We are also testing drones for various applications in the hills, like bringing the produce from the maybe a small patch in the valley to the roadhead, or maybe transferring some fresh produce immediately to the market. So we are actively working on those. Plus, we are also working on an initiative called the Drone Corridor, because although drones are free to fly, but still because the helicopter traffic in the hills is pretty high in Uttarakhand, and then we have certain reserved spaces for IF flying their training flights in some parts of the state. So we are working on an initiative of drone corridors, so that there is safe flying for the drones. And another initiative which has been transferred to the IT department is of the computer academy and learning centers. We have almost 42 partners across the state who impart training on various IT technologies. We are also including a course on drones at these 42 centers. We foresee that in the coming times, there'll be a large demand of qualified drone pilots, as well as people who know the ins and outs of repairing drones or repairing the various components which are there. So those are the initiatives which we have taken in terms of the deployment of technology. As far as the obsolescence of technology is concerned, anything which is there has a shelf life. So technology does get obsolete, but definitely the newer one which comes in, I think, would be more user-friendly kind of a solution, or a more user-friendly kind of a stack which is there. like we have low code or maybe no code platforms now available to us. And investing on them, I think, is advisable because we are not dependent on X or Y or any individuals or any individual kind of programmers or maybe qualified professionals to do our day-to-day businesses. So that cost, I think, is something which needs to be invested on.
So have you also gone through the upgradation of the state data center, or it's in the process?
See, Uttarakhand was amongst the last of the states to set up the data center. Our data center went live in December 2018, and we had adopted the latest technology which was available at that point of time, called the hyper-converged infrastructure. We are doing add-ons onto that. Like if we require some more node or more compute or storage, we keep doing it periodically. And as compared to the legacy data centers, we did not go into physical racks and all those stuff. So we have a compact DC here, and the DR is in Mumbai. It's on an outsourced basis. So currently we are looking at some expansions.
Sure. So, when we talk about Digital India, this is primarily about transparency and reach of the government, bringing resources and services from healthcare, education, finance sectors to take it to the India's rural populace, because as urban, we are already privileged. This requires a significant paradigm shift, not only in the form of government, but also in the delivery of services or schemes. Meaning to say that the innovations become very, very important moving forward. So if I may ask Dr. Jatinder, you talked about innovations in your initial comments. So what are these that you are banking upon?
I would say, what are these? Would I don't really comprehend what you're asking, but what I understand from what you mean, the initial comments that I gave, and where we started the conversation from, it came that sustainable livelihood generation is a area that requires innovations and taking people along. And we talked about climate change and percolating the lifestyles which are sustainable is an area where innovations are required, decreasing the carbon footprint. So I think that's where India, being, a rural population dominated, country, and so are these states, talking of Punjab as well. So I think that is the crux, I would say, when we talk of innovations that impact the rural masses. I think that's where a lot of focus is required and is happening as well. So I gave you, I shared about a few examples in the healthcare domain. And as far as livelihood is concerned, I remember one of the co-panelists talked about startups. We are, taking up a very focused initiative. The best practice that you selected, for example, for this platform of SKOCH. This is our bioresource processing facility and rural innovation and application center. We are now expanding it to be a rural milieu accelerator, wherein we will be supporting the self-help groups, the startups which work on the unmet needs of rural populations, and will be providing them with holistic end-to-end support in terms of marketing platform, digital marketing platforms, in terms of technological support, their tie-ups with the centers of excellence, virtual incubation, if they cannot afford not in terms of finances, because it will afford in terms of actually placing themselves bringing themselves from say one city and then placing them in the area that where we are physically setting up this accelerator. For them, making the option of virtual incubation also available, and connect with the what all is already available in terms of manufacturing facility, in terms of experiments happening at the field level, how the population is already absorbing it. India came up with its scientific social responsibility policy, for example, recently. So giving a platform to all our institutions to practically work in the rural settings and deliver, depending on the needs of the rural populations. So innovation, I would say, in every aspect, when you ask this question, every aspect of catering to rural population, be it in terms of model, be it in terms of marketing platforms, be it in terms of technologies per se. So I think it's a whole gamut, which is very, very central to India's innovation agenda. Yeah, that's come.
I understand where you're coming from, because innovation is a pretty wide term, but its connotation is very, very context sensitive. Innovation probably 15 years ago, when we started making these technology interventions, was only trying to fix the systems to deliver the government services to people, without involving them in the governance process, without having to see as to what is the demand side governance. We were looking mostly at supply side, because we were focused on only improving the governance institution and the institutional mechanisms which are already in place, which is what we talked about in the beginning. Convert paper into computer. The next step was monitoring. And then came the innovation, that how to improve upon it, how to minimize the leakages, how to make it efficient, and how to make it wide and far reaching. So that's exactly what's happening today. So there has been a remarkable change, in last as many years, 2 decades, that from a supply side governance, we've become a demand side governance. We are catering to the needs of the people. We go back to the consultations, involve them in the process of governance. So people's participation in democracy, which is what we call participative democracy, has become really important. Institutions of change have been our Panchayati Raj institutions, because that's exactly where the third tier of governance, it starts to move bottom upwards. So if you start airdropping everything from on top, nothing works. So you have to go down to the bottom and see as to how it proliferates. So it reaches the block, the district, it's reflective of a good governance all across the country. So point very well taken.
Yeah, thank you. Now, since you mentioned, this on your extended remarks, another example comes to my mind, since I also look after Punjab Biodiversity Board as its member secretary. So another initiative, it's a pan-India exercise, but in Punjab, we have been able to set up biodiversity management committees at the level of every local body, be it district, block, or village. And the next exercise has been documenting the flora and fauna, at every level. It's called People's Biodiversity Register, so that what are the bioresources available in every village. And now our next initiative that we are thinking of is digitalizing these People's Biodiversity Registers, so that in times to come, if a company makes use of these bioresources for value addition and bringing products into commercialization, every village knows where is that heritage, the entire pipeline of this, resource that they have. So people-centric and, actually taking the whole gamut of things into perspective. So that's another example I thought I'll share with you.
No, it's actually very true, because, what you're talking about, the digitalization, you're talking about creating repositories, knowledge repositories, so on and so forth. India historically has been extremely poor in documenting our own successes. We do not create institutional history. There is no memory as to, what happened 20 years ago. If you have to look into that, probably there would be less literature even written on that. And now the opportunity that the digital accords, everything can be digitalized and be accessed openly by not only the researchers, by the policymakers and otherwise whosoever is there as part of the governance. And that's something which is what, SKOCH has been doing for the last 20 years. These records of what works in the country from the outcome orientation, these case studies are available online, can be accessed on our portal, scotch.in. And we have had the privilege of working with several central ministries, sharing our digital knowledge repositories with them for their record and further enhancement. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. We have time only as much. We overshot by 3 minutes. I would have much loved to ask a couple of more questions, but I think we'll have to leave it for our next round. To all of you, in place of Mr. Arora, the CGM IT, Mr. Anil Kumar, Ashish ji, Jatinder ji, Mr. Sanjay Mathur, and Abhishek ji, thank you very much for being with us on this show.